So now I'm going to take you into the document. It's a treaty. And as I said, it's going to be posted on the opensmind.tv website, and on my Facebook will lead to it. Here it is. Can you read it? It's kind of small print, so I'm going to go over it. And I have just a few copies. We can get some copies if you're desperate for them from Open Minds. This document is the first time ever in a treaty that's going to acknowledge, and in a UN treaty, the indigenous people who never get to sign a treaty. Can you imagine? And the cosmic cultures. And you're the first to see this. This is a milestone document and moment. The first two paragraphs basically say it all. The Outer Space Security and Development Treaty of 2011 establishes a framework and procedures to assure that space will be a neutral realm from which all classes of weapons are banned. All classes, so we don't have to define them. From which no hostile action shall be taken toward Earth or the surrounding cosmos. And then listen to this. The treaty invites nation states to become signatories to the treaty. Well, nation states are who signs a treaty at the UN, and invites all parties, these are parties to the treaty, this is new, all parties, including nation states, indigenous nations, and cosmic cultures, to commit to a plan and assist in the orderly development and implementation of a framework and procedures that will assure and verify space is and will remain a neutral realm from which all classes of space-based weapons are banned in perpetuity, permanently. Now I'm going to go on. These are the agreements I'm going to just quickly go over for you that the parties to the treaty agree to, and that includes the indigenous nations and the cosmic cultures. And I know some of you are thinking, well, what about the evil aliens, the evil cosmic cultures, the evil extraterrestrials, whatever you divide them into and call them? Before I go on with this, I'm going to tell you something else that I've only gone public with to MUFON, whom I thank too for supporting me and helping to get me here too, MUFON Phoenix. Chris, Stacy, Jim, the whole group, everybody that was there. I went public, and in that group, I thought 30 people would show up, and about 100 did, and I told them my story, and I want to share this with you quickly. I am an experiencer. I hid this for so many years. Thanks to Stephen Greer, who protected a lot of us, I didn't go public with it at the Disclosure Project. God, I'm breaking out in a sweat. This was the most extraordinary moment in my life when I had another man in the room, Dr. Robert Zanger, a famous, well-known therapist, who had come to visit me in Phoenix at a conference of the People's Network, actually, because I made him come and talk to me there. I didn't want to meet with him in my house because he seemed so obsessed with this idea about UFOs. And he was in the room with me when a line of ETs came in through the wall. One came forward between us and had a whole conversation for about an hour and a half. And I was told that he would remember some of it, I would remember all of it, and it's all coming back. It has stayed in my mind all this time. It was just before the Disclosure Project took place. And again, because I haven't read any books, I went to my first meeting with Barbara Lamb and her group the first night we were here, so I was in a room with 50 experiencers. Wow, what an experience that was. And I was told I have another message to give. So I get this assignment from all these different people I've mentioned, but this one is so profound. And it's been confirmed now that this is true. None of them are hostile now. Everything is in control in the universe. In fact, in the last couple of years, I've now heard that these experiments are not going on, that were either interpreted or in fact painful in many different ways, because I was told in my experience by this being that yes, we did these experiments, we're sorry we hurt people, and look what you do to other animals in your experimenting. And they were trying to find out who we were the way it was explained to me. Some are the Durga holding the light in peace, others are here killing each other and even eating each other. This is the language that was used for me. They can use the word God or anything that relates in religion, but it's all a spiritual message. In fact, all of these people that I worked with had a spiritual message, that that's what this whole event is about. It's a spiritual message. It's not about technology. It's not about politics. It's not about economics. It's about raising our consciousness to a higher frequency where we really all get that the grid is about love. It's about love. It's a grid. I've learned along the way from this experience that we really are all one, but I gotta tell you, I'm discerning right now because we're in transition and I don't want these people around me right now who are causing the problems. On the other hand, if they're not hurting me specifically, I will address anybody because we have to get this message out that none of them are hostile. It's been repeated to me over and over in visits. It's changed. They too have evolved like we are. They're at a higher frequency. They know that some people won't believe it. That's okay. Let's find the people who do. And it doesn't matter for the sake of this treaty. The unique thing about what I'm going to read to you now is that we can all agree to it no matter what our belief system is, background, our journey up to this point, no matter how you think or interpret what's going on, or no matter even what the reality is in your life or in this whole issue. What I'm going to present to you now, I hope you can hear this, that you'll take a journey a step further with me. I've had to push myself up into it too, because this has been written by some amazing people that fit the time of where we are in this room, which is why I came to present this. So I'm going to go on now with just the agreements to start with the actual agreements that these parties will agree to. And I've been trying it out on different people, and it works. So if you would now, if I had an ecstasy tablet, I'd drop it all on you. Because it makes you drop all the crap, you know, and get into that higher space. Okay. So now you've taken your ecstasy. We're all in a higher place. So we are now reaffirming the urgency of preventing a destabilizing and threatening and costly arms race in space. Well, that's pretty obvious to anybody except those who come from a place where they still think weapons are going to make us more secure. And I know a lot of people like that. The second one is, the parties to this treaty recognize that the agreement by treaty to create a weapons-free space domain, ensure universal cooperation in space, will save huge sums of money that otherwise are going to be spent on these dangerous polluting weapons and technologies. They recognize that the elimination of space-based weapons is more easily accomplished with an agreement before further investment is taking place. In fact, you know there are billions of dollars. Do you know the R&D program of space-based weapons, although it will be denied like a lot of what you hear? This is the largest research and development program in recorded history mandated to weaponize space. And they'll say, oh no, it's only about ground-based weapons. Okay, so this is before any further investment. It's just easier, obviously, to eliminate the space-based weapons program. This confirms that it's the obligation of all state leaders to ban all space-based weapons, including the intention to weaponize space. Or that includes any celestial body or the moon or any space-based technology anywhere in space. We're talking now about in space. And at the end of this, you'll hear this is not about the ground-based systems. Yes, we want to get rid of polluting, dangerous weapons technologies on the planet, but we need to start someplace where you and I can finally be successful at doing something that there's no debate over. We can all agree to one thing. If we can, we've got it. So we reaffirm the urgent need for agreements on concrete proposals and projects deriving from confidence-building world cooperative space ventures, which will prevent an arms race in outer space. Yes, I know some don't want weapons or technology in space at all, but since it's already happened and it ain't gonna stop, This is calling for cooperation in space. Cooperation in space is what's going on right now, but it's about to flip if we don't jump in and stop this and call for cooperative ventures in outer space. And that will be confidence building measures as people work in space, the astronauts and cosmonauts, the very first ones I met who met in space. There's a picture NASA had of their heads upside down, 2 of them. They said they absolutely cannot fight in space. It's too funny that they're even there. Like, it's funny that I'm even here to me, but they cannot fight in space, but they will if we let them get away with this one. Next, recognize the information and data gained from cooperative space exploration and development will provide unlimited benefits and opportunities to all humankind in areas of health. I mentioned all the ways that we could have high technology and higher consciousness and information to heal that doesn't require the kind of drugs that aren't the ones that Timothy and the guys were talking about. I mean, these are the ones that you hear on television that, here, swallow this, you'll feel better. Just if you go blind, or you get diarrhea, or you in fact get depressed, or suicidal, or you kill yourself. You know those big... Education, I'm an educator. We need high technology. I helped organize the first 24 countries in two-way audio-visual satellite link-ups. I helped set up 5,000 ground stations in India on the ATS-6 that I worked on with von Braun, the application technology, 6th most complex, huge satellite in existence. Unbelievable experience, because I learned, and Global Educators magazine wrote it up, that there are lists of cooperative ventures that you can do in space that I got actually from Russia from one of my trips. They stuck it in my pocket, I published it, and then soon we saw the Apollo-Soyuz link-up. And we started seeing how satellites could provide global education. Imagine 3 satellites, that's all, in geosynchronous orbit, miles and miles above the Earth in geosynchronous orbit. 3 of them provide the footprint to the world, and we could have global education. We could share, respect each other's cultures, learn about each other via satellite, not classify all this information. To me, as an educator, there's so much that we can do. Thankfully, we've now got, and the children know how to do it, Facebook and all the other social networking technologies and computers where I worked with Peace Child and we had to send videos to each other. Now you can do it on the computer if any of you are doing things like that. It's the most amazing thing for homeschooling, for education in general, and we need that. The economy, my gosh, we keep hearing about stimulating the economy. Have you noticed with all the problems you hear about the economy, we are not hearing about cutting the war budget. And if they do start to cut the war budget, it's something that we either finished working on already or we don't need anymore because they've got something new and better. So here we're talking about stimulating the economy. Imagine the Apollo. Von Braun told me how many people, thousands of people worked on just the Apollo program, but now the world is in space. I spoke at the International Astronautical Federation Congress years ago, and it was about the economic benefits of what's going on in space. And now we can stimulate the economy no longer with the war machine. Listen, we're going into space whether we like it or not. If we create a huge space program and we include what we've learned and we're learning and will learn when our friends, our visitors come in and we invite them for real, where they know they're going to be safe and not shot down. Will somebody please tell me where the landing pads are being built, or give us the money and we'll get the architects and artists together and we'll start building them like in the movies, but make it real. We can stimulate the economy with more jobs and more profits than during any hot or cold wartime by stimulating the space program without the mandate to weaponize space. That's what this is about. Okay, I'm going on. Security, security. So many of us come from fear. I came from fear coming here. But we come from fear because of our experiences growing up to this point. And look around the world, we're so lucky. We've got clothes, we've got food, we've got rooms to stay in, we've got cars, we got here. The world is suffering. I don't know about you, but I've been to these countries where I've walked down the street and a little boy with his mother living in a corrugated cardboard handed me a ring. The ring was from a can that somebody had given him. People are suffering around the world. We have to stop this. We have the technology to do it, and this issue gives us the solution to it. So now we have security that's going to be based not on more weapons, but on collaborative ventures in the highest of technologies and in the highest of security that's based on sharing of information. The information exists, but it's all classified. So now we have a chance we have the technology. If you go to a map, there's a map I almost showed here from it's called the Global Incidents, the website, globalincidentsmap.com. It's a live map, and you can see all the earthquakes and weather things and gang wars, and you can even get the terrorist threat, and you can sign up for more of a security part of information. It's for the public. The information's out there. We can even get to it, the Global Incidents Map, globalincidentsmap.com. Amazing. And there are a lot of live maps. All the information's out there. It's how it's used and whether we participate or not and demand that this war game stop so that we can have our visitors come in and learn and share the information. So let me go on. Energy. Of course, there are many experts here. I'm not a technical expert, but look at the energy sources and look at the information that we're going to be able to get from when the craft are allowed to come in for us and our scientists. I know of about 500 of them that have models that they want to build. Imagine what we're going to learn when they come in safely and we can actually not have to go down 15 levels underground, and I'm told if I go, I can't get out. The energy sources are there, and we don't need this oil business and fossil fuels destroying our planet and the indigenous culture covered with oil. How dare them get away with that? Stop it, and this is how we're going to stop it. The last one on this page, acknowledge that we are not alone in the universe. This is in a treaty. I'm not alone in the universe, that there are cosmic cultures that will import allies for our security and development, and that our national and international policies must reflect this reality. This is in a treaty. This has to go. We have to really deal with this on our kind of intelligence kind of level. Finally, I'm going to turn the page here. I think. Yes, okay. Now, this is, there's this and one little other page of the parties, and this part's so important. The rest is treaty stuff. Okay, in this one, excuse me, I'm not to be emotional because, we women are too emotional and shouldn't be this way. Okay. Acknowledge that from the beginning of the nuclear weapons testing, terrestrial craft have demonstrated a capability to selectively shut down communications or the power of participating in operational units. They've appeared over ICBM fields in several countries, causing non-destructive failure of dozens of ICBMs, taking them out of the operational status for days. Well, after the Disclosure Project, in fact, in September, you heard about Leslie Kane's wonderful international press conference, okay? Now I'm going to talk to you about the military one that took place on September 27th. I think that's the date of 2010 where Robert Salas Haynes came public, and Salas, of course, said there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that these craft have come in a dangerous way or in a threatening way to this planet. They've just displayed what they can do by shutting down our missile silos. Missiles. This other newspaper article's talking about more missiles, but they can shut them down. I mean, what is going on? This is such a waste of time. They're in total denial. They need psychiatric care, these people that...